that he had been part of a scandal in 2018 when he ran unopposed for this school board position. He had tried, we asked him why do you want to be on a school board? And he was a graduate of Arcadia High School in 2012. But he had tried to get on, I think it was an environmental committee at city council, and couldn't get on a committee. But he had political interest. Like his Facebook page,
politically driven. Yeah,
his Facebook page in the beginning said politician.
Oh, geez.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he was very vocal on his Facebook page about his political views and vaccine requirements. And we're like, no, like do not politicize our school board. It's a nonpartisan board. But he ran unopposed because his dad created a website, a parody website. Like, it is awful what he did to this former board member, and basically called her a Nazi. It was the stuff on the site. He called it a parody site.
Is this site still up?
It's still up.
Oh, what is it?
It's I think it's I'll get it for you.
Can you link it to his Facebook, or does he have it somewhere?
Let me
And
see.
this was his father?
Yeah, and what's happened here is, like, you've got this Jan Michael Greenberg who's still wet behind the ears, looks like an altar boy, and then you've got his dad who's like the henchman, and he's the alter ego, and he does all the dirty work.
Yeah.
And then Jan Michael says, well, I didn't know he was doing it.
Right.
I mean, my kids.
Even though I live with him.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are moms.
Yeah.
If I swear in traffic, if somebody cuts me off in traffic, my kids are like, Mom, don't do that.
Yeah.
But somehow this guy's living with his dad. They share the Wi-Fi and a computer. They've admitted to sharing a computer.
Yeah.
And
he has no clue.
And he can't. And I'm not my father's keeper. Well, baloney.
Yeah.
Like we
sounds
know
like a politician's mark to me.
Yeah. He's got all the. He's
He's ready. He's lined up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you think this was just a power ploy for him?
Yeah, it was a stepping stone. He has
To put on his resume.
Yeah, he had initially filed to run for re-election in the Scottsdale School Board, and then on November 3rd, before this story broke, he filed to run for the Maricopa County College District Board member.
This year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so November 3rd. So the story broke on November 9th, and I hope that has put an end to his political career.
I'm absolutely sure. He's still on the board, right? Like, they couldn't get him off.
How would it be? This is the deal, though. It put an end to what political career? Not a Democrat one.
Right.
This is like this is like everything they dream of.
This is leftist. Like, let's get him elected as quick as we can.
Yeah.
But he's still on the board. He was removed as president, if I recall correctly. They kicked him out of his presidency.
His colleagues removed him as president. He voted for himself to stay as president. Now, this is a volunteer
This guy is such
position.
a loser.
It's a volunteer position. It's not even like it's going to affect his income.
Yeah.
We just need him, like, stop volunteering.
Yeah.
We don't want you to volunteer anymore. Like, leave and let somebody replace you who actually cares about kids and cares about our students. But this was just a political stepping stone. Now, I think he thinks that it would probably be career suicide to actually resign.
Right.
It is career suicide not to resign.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who's in this guy's ear telling him
his daddy.
to dig in.
His daddy, first of all.
So when you started to get involved, go to the school board, what did you see? What was your first experience? How did it look to you?
I found that it was they were deaf to the parents. We know what's best. We don't really care what you have to say. They would survey us and survey us and survey us. Like 80% of parents wanted to send their kids back to the classroom, and they had an online option. That was a choice for everyone. But they really wanted to dictate to us. And I would love to say that this is our only problem in the Scottsdale School District, but it goes deeper than this. The superintendent knew about the dossier. The vice president knew about the dossier.
Okay, wait. We got to talk about. Wait,
We still got to talk about the dossier.
Yeah, because there might be listeners that don't know what's happening.
All right, so dossier. So now Amanda has got an organization of parents who are questioning the school board and that are aware of what's happening and proactively questioning tactics. What happens?
They did not like hearing from us. So actually in January, they had started to characterize us as disruptors and then calling us destructors of public education. I'm like, no, we actually are choosing this district for our kids. We have charter schools, we have private schools. We want our children to go to this district, but we just want you to be honest about it and be transparent. I mean, they spent almost $2 million on cameras and said it was the future of education and this is how kids are going to learn even beyond COVID. Those cameras are collecting dust now because it's a violation of FERPA. Yeah. So they lied about it to get the budget, the dollars approved, and then now they're not doing it. And so and then you're going to tell me that teachers aren't paid well? Well, why is that? Mm-hmm. It's because the district is misusing funds.
Was that when I was at that school board meeting where they shut it down because all the parents wouldn't put masks on?
So that was actually last fall. So that was in September, October, November.
I'm in a time warp. I was at that one.
Yeah.
And I was so frustrated because I thought it's after school hours. The kids aren't in here. The parents that want to wear masks are wearing them. The parents that don't. The whole idea was to talk about CRT at the time.
Yeah, everybody had been vaccinated.
And they were avoiding the conversation and used masks to get out of that conversation. And then they're also teaching, to hate cops and all the things. And then it wasn't a blessing. They got to be escorted out of the building by officers. And I thought, how ironic is that?
Right.
But anyway, so there's so many levels here that you're looking, just to get kids in the classroom is what, like you said, one aspect of it. It's like this layered cake, right?
Well, we started to realize when we were asking those questions and attending board meetings and looking at the agenda, we realized how much other bad things were happening. Mm-hmm. And we're like, whoa, we just need to continue being a watchdog for the community because they don't answer to anyone. There's no oversight.
Wow.
Unless you're involved and you're going, and it's a drag. These meetings are horribly boring. But if you don't stay involved, they'll just do things right under your nose.
I think it's interesting because in this entire world nation that we're living in, the left is going so far that they're alerting us to what they're doing because it's like they could have trickled this all in, right? And they could have probably gone 10 more years with this stuff. But they pushed so hard that they're alerting us to these other things. And now we're waking up and going, oh, we don't like this. We're going to push back. Mm-hmm. So it's like if you would have just left the kids alone, trickled this mask thing, dragged it out, whatever, we might not have noticed. But once you opened up that can and you started looking, you're finding all these other things. And that's what's making parents want to wake up. So when we get back, if you guys have not heard of this story, if you're not in Arizona, this guy pulled some stuff. Jan, he pulled some stuff on Amanda personally and some other moms. So we're going to touch on that when we get back. She's So Right Show.
Hey, freedom fighters, your favorite mama bears are back. Ooh. We have Amanda Ray in the studio. She is front and center fighting Jan Michael Greenberg, the unmarried, childless man who thinks he's large in charge of all of the stuff happening at school.
They want to be a politician.
Yeah, so Amanda, what I saw happening, I could not believe it. That your information, after you guys were standing up and kind of getting loud and saying, we're not going to let this happen to our kids, you were targeted.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
Yeah. So we knew the Greenberg history with the parody website, which is, I think it's Perlberg for SUSD.com. So it's PERLEBERG 4 spelled out. SUSD.com.
SUSD. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
It's pretty disgusting.
So this is where Jan trashes another opponent for something
and calls it his dad. So but you can't tell where one ends and one begins. Right. So it's all he knew about it. He didn't stop it. Called it parody. They sue each other. He sues her back because GoDaddy disclosed who he was and violated his privacy.
Oh my gosh.
It's just nonsense. But
this poor guy. He's such a victim of this world.
I know. Poor guy. Yeah, it caused a retinal tear.
I want to attack people, and I don't want to be found out.
Right.
It caused a retinal tear?
I think it was like a retinal high blood pressure and a retinal tear.
Gosh.
It's all documented in AZ Central. Like if you Google Mark Greenberg or Scottsdale School Jan Michael Greenberg, you'll find the whole ridiculous,
enjoyable hours of entertainment.
Crazy. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so what happened?
So what happened? The way this kind of kicked off was in January. Jan Michael, during a board meeting, went on a political rant, and said that the members of this community, the parents, were responsible for the riots on January 6th.
Oh, geez.
And I was like, you got to be kidding me. And then he says, people who I voted for in this election were not elected, and that's a shame. And I'm like, goodness, no, it's not. We had some elections turn out with common sense. But a couple days later, we had a town hall meeting with him and started to question his involvement on the school board and the decision making. And I called him out for making a political rant. This is a nonpartisan school board. You made a political rant, and it was inappropriate. Well, he defended himself and said it wasn't, that it was current events, and it wasn't political. And a couple hours later, I got a message from his dad using a fake Facebook profile that was of a black man named Frank Graham. And he said, I finally saw you in person. You should buy a Peloton bike.
Oh
my God.
Really classy.
Oh, my gosh.
Right. Yeah. So I'd seen his dad.
I don't know why I'm so shocked. This is literally how they act.
So just personal attack.
Yeah. I mean, because when you don't have a political argument.
Right.
Yeah.
You name call.
Person. Yeah. So he wanted to body shame me. And I think the intent was like to shame me to not show up at a board meeting and challenge his son. Now, it could have been Jan Michael. They share a computer. Who knows?
Real quick, for anyone that's listening, Amanda is a bombshell. She does not need a Peloton bike. So
if somebody wants to send
if anyone's
me one.
picturing like a really fat chick sitting here, she's not. So this is like the hilarious thing is they pick something they think you're insecure about, but that's not actually true. Like she's literally an average mom, average female. This is hilarious. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for that. But if anybody wants to send me a Peloton bike, I will gladly accept one. But
use my promo code. No. I don't have a promo code. Okay.
Yeah, so that's how it started. And so then we have this mask meeting in May. We're ready for masks to go away. And we just don't let up. We don't let up the pressure. And, we were not an angry mob. We were just asking questions and holding our school board accountable. When they said something, we wanted to hold them to those words. And then school started to resume in August. And we hosted a boot camp to help people understand what curriculum had been adopted and understand what their kids are going to be learning. And the school district,
CRT being one of them, right?
So this was just Scottsdale Unified, or were you guys joining hands with other districts?
We were communicating with other districts, but it was primarily related to the Scottsdale school district. So in April, they had adopted some curriculum behind closed doors and violated the Arizona open meeting law, which we can kind of get into. But we didn't know what was in the curriculum because we hadn't been able to see it, and so we didn't know.
So really fast, what did you see that you were standing against?
We honestly hadn't seen any of the curriculum.
Oh,
it was done. The Arizona Open law meant you should have before it was adopted.
Yep, we should have been part. Those meetings should have been open, and the curriculum should have been reviewed, but they didn't do it.
Interesting. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Sneaky
so Jan
Sneakerson
Michael got his revenge, or his daddy.
Creepy sneaky.
Can't wait to hear about that.
We'll be back. You guys are listening to the She's So Right Show. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook. We're always doing cool stuff. Always.
At She's So Right Show.
Hey, freedom fighters. You're back. Randy Barclay, Lindsey Graham with She's So Right Show. We have special guest Amanda Ray, who is fighting this crazy tyranny. Tell us, Amanda, what has happened with this dossier. What came out against you when you got bold for your children?
Yeah, so back in May, or April, I think the school district adopted $3.5 million of curriculum. They did it behind closed doors. We decided if they're not going to show us the curriculum and talk about it, then we were going to take it to the parents directly. And so a fellow parent, or several other parents, got together and we hosted a back-to-school boot camp. And we were going to talk about curriculum, how to get involved in your school board, how to make a public comment, how to pull public records. And that was such a threat to the school district that they sent us a cease and desist letter.
Oh, wow.
And said, because we had used the initials SUSD CAN, which is the name of our Facebook group, and we had said in this flyer, we didn't use their trademark, but we said in this flyer, come learn about